I've showcased a few ThinkPads on this channel before, but this is the Lenovo ThinkPad P50, and it's unlike any of the others I've looked at. The X220 and X240 are pretty small laptops. Of course, they're a bit thicker compared to most laptops we have today, but they have 12.5-inch screens and can quite easily fit into a rucksack. This P50 on the other hand has a 15.6-inch screen, and it's pretty heavy at 5.8 pounds or 2.6 kilos. I bought this laptop on eBay for £120, which I think is a pretty good deal considering the specs. We have an Intel Core i7 6820HQ, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, a 512GB SSD, and a dedicated Nvidia Quadro M2000M graphics card. And while I did install Linux, hardware-wise I haven't changed anything. We're certainly not spoiled for I/O either. On the left we have an SD card slot, an express card slot, and room for a smart card slot. On the right we have a headphone mic combo jack, 2 USB 3 ports, and a mini display port. But most of the ports are on the back. We have 2 more USB 3 ports, Gigabit Ethernet, Thunderbolt 3, HDMI, and the port for the AC adapter. Underneath we have the port for a dock and the 66 Wh battery, and I like the fact it's hot swappable so you don't have to unscrew the laptop to replace it. Now, because it's a used laptop, it's difficult to give an accurate expectation for battery life, as it largely depends on the battery's condition, as there are loads of other factors that can influence the result. For simple web browsing, YouTube playback, and other general computing tasks, it works fine, and you can probably get a good few hours. But of course, this can drop significantly if the system is under load. We have a 60Hz IPS display with a resolution of 1920 by 1080. I can take or leave a higher refresh rate, but I know for some people 60 FPS is a deal breaker. Compared to the TN panels on the X220 and X240, this screen is a lot brighter, and even on a fairly low brightness I can see everything just fine. The trackpad is also pretty nice. Not much to really say about it other than it's there. It's made of plastic, but it's responsive and doesn't feel flimsy or cheap. And of course, being a ThinkPad, it has the red nub. And if you'd rather use the nub, you can actually disable the trackpad in the BIOS. ThinkPads are also known for having great keyboards, and this one is no exception. On 10 fast fingers I average 93 words per minute, which is not far off my normal typing speed. I'm not a crazy fast typist who can exceed 200 words per minute, but my typing speed is above average. The only real complaints I have about the keyboard are the lack of a backlight, although I believe you can get a backlight for this model, and the control and function keys being flipped. You can change this in the BIOS, but since the keys aren't the same size, you can't physically swap them, so they're going to be labelled wrong. As for the webcam and built-in microphone, I'll let the results speak for themselves.
This is a test of the webcam and microphone on the ThinkPad P50. As you can probably tell, the audio is absolutely rubbish.
It's not the most useful microphone, but it's certainly the most fun.
Big up Chipshot Tuesday.
I then tested the Wi-Fi using speedtest.net. I got 17 millisecond ping, 131.8 megabits per second for the download speed, and 28.84 megabits per second for the upload speed, which is what I would expect based on my connection. Now let's get into the benchmarks. I started with Geekbench 6, where I got a single core score of 1376 and a multi-core score of 4482. Then on to Geekbench AI, where I got a single precision score of 1061, a half precision score of 1066, and a quantized score of 568. I'm not the best person to talk about AI, but just for fun, I tested Llama 3.2 locally using Alpaca, and I got some pretty decent results. Things were a bit weird when it came to gaming. I tested 5 games, but I'm only showing 3 of them, because 2 of them kept crashing when I tried capturing the footage externally. Minecraft runs pretty well at 1080p with fast settings and 8 chunk render distance. Unsurprisingly, we comfortably reach hundreds of FPS because it's Minecraft. Civilization 6 runs okay at 1080p or 720p low. It's not great when you look at the benchmark results, but the game is playable, especially since it's a turn-based game. but the best result I got was with Doom Eternal. You'll have to excuse my terrible gameplay because I was looking at the footage through OBS on my main computer, and I was also playing with the track point. To be clear, Quadro cards are not designed for gaming. They're designed for tasks like CAD, CGI and video editing, but if you want to do some light gaming on this laptop, you can. If you're curious, the other two games I tested were BeamNG Drive and Overwatch. So at this point, you might be wondering, why would anyone buy this laptop? Who is this laptop for? While it's not the most practical laptop due to its size and weight, and for the same price you could probably build a desktop with used parts that outperforms this, for 120 quid, you've got a relatively powerful computer and everything you need to use it. I see laptops like this not so much as laptops, but rather transportable computers. You're not going to be using this on an airplane, but I can think of scenarios where someone might need a powerful computer at home and at work or school, but they want the convenience of one device, and if they have access to power when they actually need to use the device, then battery life isn't a huge problem. That's it for today's video, and until next time, cheerio.